Every day, billions of people wake up and instantly reach for their phones, as if the digital world is part of their body. Messages, money, work, and entertainment all flow through one small screen without a second thought. It feels like the internet is everywhere, like it has no borders or limits. But that feeling is an illusion. In reality, every single thing you do online must travel through a physical system owned by someone. Your photos do not float in the sky, and your messages do not disappear into thin air. They move through cables, servers, and networks that exist in specific places controlled by powerful organizations. Most people believe the internet is free and open, but they never ask who built it or who controls the pathways it uses. Just like roads decide where cars can go, digital highways decide where information can flow. If someone controls those highways, they don't need to block you directly to control you. They only need to decide which data moves faster, which moves slower, and which never arrives. This silent system shapes what you see, what becomes popular, and what disappears before you even notice it. The power behind it is invisible, but it affects billions of lives every day. A few massive corporations and governments quietly operate the backbone of the modern digital world. They own the cables, the servers, and the data centers that keep the internet alive. Every video you watch, every online payment you make, and every message you send passes through their infrastructure. That means they don't just provide the internet, they shape. Italiano. People think power comes from money or weapons, but in the modern world it comes from information. And information only has power when someone controls how it moves. Right now, most of humanity depends on a system they barely understand, and the people who understand it the most are the ones with the most control. The internet looks like freedom, but it is actually one of the most organized and controlled systems ever built. You are free to use it, but you are not free from how it works. Once you see who controls the digital highways of the world, everything you do online starts to look different, and that is exactly why this story matters. Most people think the internet is some kind of magical space that connects everyone equally. They believe it cannot be owned, controlled, or truly restricted by anyone. But the truth is, the internet is not a cloud or a dream. It is a physical system made of cables, buildings, and machines that sit on land someone owns. Every time you search something, that request travels through a chain of private networks. Those networks belong to corporations, telecom companies, and governments. This means the internet is not one thing, but a series of toll roads. And every toll road has a gatekeeper who decides how traffic flows. Some data is allowed to move faster, while other data is slowed down. This alone can decide which websites succeed and which ones disappear. The public rarely sees this control because it is built into the system. It operates silently in the background while users think everything is happening freely. Tech companies do not just run apps. They run infrastructure. They build the highways that the digital world depends on. Governments do not just make laws. They influence how these networks operate. Together, they form the hidden architecture of the modern internet. When people talk about online freedom, they usually mean what they are allowed to post. But real freedom depends on who controls the system that carries those posts. If you control the wires, you control the conversation. If you control the servers, you control what stays online. This is why digital power today is more valuable than oil. Information shapes economies, opinions, and entire societies. Most users only see the screen in front of them. They never see the massive system behind it deciding what reaches that screen. Understanding this changes everything. Because the internet is not just a tool, it is a structure of power. The global internet is carried by a massive network of fiber optic cables that stretch across oceans and continents. These cables are thinner than a garden hose, but carry nearly all of the world's digital traffic. More than 95% of all international data travels through these underwater lines. Satellites are only used for a tiny fraction of global communication. These cables connect countries the same way veins connect to the human body. If even one major cable is damaged, entire regions can suddenly lose internet access. This has already happened multiple times in different parts of the world. Millions of people were disconnected because one physical line failed. The internet feels digital, but it depends on very fragile physical infrastructure, and whoever owns that infrastructure holds real power. These cables are laid and maintained by private companies and governments. They are not owned by the public or by the world. Some of the largest tech corporations have built their own private cable networks. This allows them to move data faster and cheaper than their competitors. By controlling their own cables, They no longer need to rely on shared systems. That gives them enormous influence over how global data moves. When a company controls the path data travels, it gains more than speed. It gains leverage over the digital economy. This is why internet infrastructure is one of the most valuable assets on Earth. It decides who can compete and who cannot. The cables do not just carry videos and messages. They carry financial transactions, business operations, and government communication. This makes them more important than oil pipelines or shipping routes. They are the arteries of the modern world. Once data moves through these cables, it arrives at data centers. These are massive buildings filled with thousands of powerful computers working non-stop. This is what people call the cloud. It is not in the sky. It is stored in real buildings on real land. Most of the world's data is stored in a few countries. The largest share is located in the United States and Western Europe. This means much of the world's digital life is under the laws of those countries. That gives them legal and technical control. If a government requests access to data stored within its borders, companies must follow the law. This makes data location a powerful tool. It also means countries with more data centers have more digital influence. They host the memories, messages, and business records of the world. These data centers consume enormous amounts of electricity and water. They are treated like strategic infrastructure, not just office buildings. Protecting them is a matter of national importance. Losing them would mean losing access to huge amounts of information. Big technology companies invest billions to build and secure these centers. This gives them dominance in the digital world. The more data you store, the more power you gain. Data is the new currency of the modern era. Whoever owns the servers owns the memories of the internet. That makes them the quiet guardians of the digital age. This power is invisible, but it shapes everything people do online. Most people think online platforms decide what they see, but those platforms rely on the networks and servers beneath them. If the infrastructure changes, the platforms must follow. The system below decides what the system above can do. Internet traffic is not random. It is routed through networks that decide which path data takes. Some paths are faster, cheaper, and more stable than others. This affects how quickly content loads. If a website loads slowly, people leave. If it loads quickly, people stay. This simple difference can make or break a business. Infrastructure silently decides winners and losers. Companies that own networks can give priority to their own services. This gives them an unfair advantage. They can make their platforms feel faster and more reliable. Users never see the manipulation, only the result. Governments also influence these systems through laws and regulations. This shapes how data moves across borders. Some countries require data to stay within their territory. This creates digital borders. The internet looks global, but it is governed by national rules. Those rules shape what is possible online. This is how digital power works in practice. It is quiet, legal, and deeply effective. Information today is more powerful than weapons. It shapes how people think, vote, and spend their money. This makes control over information extremely valuable. It gives influence without force. When a company controls a platform and the infrastructure behind it, its power multiplies. It decides what is seen and how it is delivered. This is why technology companies have become some of the most powerful organizations in history. They do not just sell products. They operate the backbone of modern life. Every business, government, and individual depends on their systems. That creates a new kind of dependency. This dependency is rarely questioned. People only notice it when something stops working. When a service goes down, entire economies can slow. That shows how deep this power runs. Digital infrastructure is now as important as electricity or water. Without it, society cannot function. Those who manage it have enormous responsibility and influence. The future will be shaped by those who build and control these systems. They are writing the rules of the digital world. Understanding this is the first step to understanding modern power. The internet will continue to grow. More people, more devices, and more data will flow through the same systems. This will make control over infrastructure even more important. New cables will be built, and new data centers will rise. But ownership will remain concentrated. A small number of players will continue to dominate. This does not mean the internet is evil. It means it is organized around power. The internet feels like a place of endless freedom, but in reality, it is one of the most carefully built systems on Earth. Every message, every video, and every digital dollar travels through paths someone designed. Those paths were not created by accident. They were built by companies and governments that understood how powerful information would become. And today, that power shapes the world. Most people never think about the cables beneath the oceans. They never imagine the massive buildings storing their digital lives. Yet everything they do online depends on those hidden systems. Without them, the digital world would disappear instantly. The real controllers of the modern world are not always the ones you see on the news. They are the ones who manage the flow of data. They decide how fast information moves and where it is allowed to go. This gives them influence over economies, ideas, and cultures. This does not mean you are powerless. It means you are part of something much bigger than a screen. Understanding how the internet works makes you a smarter digital citizen. It helps you see the structure behind the surface. The future will not only be decided by politics or money, it will be decided by who controls the world's information. Data is the new foundation of global power, and the internet is the highway that carries it. The more you understand these systems, the less invisible they become. Knowledge is how you stay ahead. This is why exploring hidden global systems matters, because the truth is always more powerful than the illusion. And in the digital age, the biggest illusion is thinking the internet runs itself.